Hey man, Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm doing good, bro. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, bro. It's been a while, it's just it's something that, I'm sure a lot of people have been asking. I mean, I've been having a lot of questions too, as usual. It's like, hey man, when's the next one? Oh, you're saying you didn't? Oh man.
I don't
Is
know.
that what
I
you're
don't know
implying?
how's the demand. I haven't been hearing any demand in Chai Chai, so
That's also true. I don't think anybody has openly spoken, but yeah, no, I honestly, and at the end of the day, like I've been meaning to kind of catch up with you and everyone else and whoever else is, willing to join us. But yeah, man, it's been the tough, I would say, couple of months for us. So, but I'm glad that we could make time for this, man. What's been going on with
yeah.
you?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll chat about it during our episode. Let's
Yeah,
start
yeah,
with our guest
let's.
and go from
Yeah,
there.
we do have a guest. We're back with a guest.
Fantastic. Esteemed guest, would you like to come on, please?
Oh, there you go.
Assalamu
Welcome,
alaikum,
guys.
Abu.
Welcome,
Wa alaikum
salam.
Welcome.
salam.
How you been,
How's it
man?
going?
How's-
Good,
We're all,
good,
Good.
man.
I like the
It's good.
I like the sync, guys. We're all asking the same questions at the same time. This is good.
It's
Yeah,
nice, it's almost the end of the year. I have
yeah,
nice weather outside. It's about 20s right now, and uh,
You know what?
it's good.
You can't make us feel bad. It's gotten pretty nice here
yeah.
too. It's like 14, 15 degrees here, man, in the middle of December.
Hey, 14, 15 is not bad at all. That's good.
I know. I was so surprised. I grabbed the jacket to go out, and I was like, I don't need this. What's going on?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
good
know, man.
weather.
I'm trying to set up my ice rink again, and I
Oh yeah,
want
that
cold
probably
now.
sucks. Yeah.
So
Ah,
yeah, that's my issue here. But
And the
oh
winds,
well.
the winds are horrible, man. Like the gusts
Yeah,
that was nuts. It was like what 80, 90 kilometers, man.
what?
Yeah.
yeah. Lots of fences knocked over and trees
Yeah.
down and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whoa. And is it like rain as well, or just random winds?
It's been on and off at least, I would say.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
mostly just
Okay,
Either
crazy
or.
winds. Yeah, crazy winds though. Like
okay, wow.
insane, man. But I mean, the thing is, a good thing is with combined with the not too extreme temperatures, it's
Yeah,
not bad. It's just kind of dangerous, obviously, when you're walking or have something in your hand.
yeah.
But yeah, the gusts are next level, man.
Okay,
And I
all
think the
right.
warning is up
Interesting.
until for the next few days. So yeah.
Oh, this is a few days thing. I thought maybe it was just today that was the winds.
No.
Okay.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
That's the weird part, man. It's sticking around, and it's just like, okay, global warming is
yeah.
not real, obviously. So this is the government. They have these big fans. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Muzzy, what's up on your end?
Yeah, what's new?
Nothing much, man. Just kids, kids, kids. That's all it's been for the past little while.
Yeah.
Right? As they grow older, and then one's finally in school, so setting a school routine, while the other one's all just watching. Now we gotta, budget our time accordingly, right? So it's been interesting. Been a lot of fun though. So
What's the what's the routine that you guys have going for your kids when you wake from when they wake up to when they go to sleep?
honestly, man, if you guys know me, I am not a morning person at all. Right?
Right.
Like when I first got my job, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to wake up at 8 a.m. and the routine was always wake up at 8 a.m., prop open the laptop, and then go back to sleep. That's kind of been my routine. But then now with
Yeah.
the kid in school, it's just been like, okay, get up at 7, get his breakfast ready, wake him up, feed him, change, get in the car, go drop him off, come back, and then if I have a meeting, I'll stay up. Otherwise, I'm back in bed at like 9. So
Wow.
Uh-huh.
it's been interesting times, but it's just been the way that the healthcare industry has gone right during the whole pandemic. It's been slow, right? Everybody's focused on COVID and ICU, and then now
Right.
when lockdown went away, it's just like all the focus came back on surgery. So
Yeah.
my stuff has kind of been slow since like September. So actually got a lot done in the summer, but then
Yeah.
ever since September came around, it's been pretty slow because the hospital focus has shifted elsewhere, right?
I see.
But yeah, but getting back to your question, I mean, we've got I'll be kind of in work and whatnot until about
Mhm.
5. About after 5, I'll watch the kids so that Duba can do her baking
Yeah.
stuff, right? So
Okay.
been it's been an interesting routine. Get them
Nice.
at least one in bed. I'll watch Zimmel for a little bit and then get her to bed around like 10 p.m. and then that
Okay.
10:30 to midnight is like that sweet spot where we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
But usually that's the time where we're both like dead tired. So
Forget
at
it.
least
Yeah.
at least one person knocks out.
You
Okay.
guys,
And so
you,
what? Zim will take one nap during the day or two naps?
One.
Okay.
wow.
So she'll take one nap, so and
Is
then
it a
what time does
long nap
Zion
though?
usually sleep?
Zayan gets to bed at like 8:15. He's in bed,
Okay.
and he's up at 7. So
Nice. And Zim also wakes up at like 10ish, or she'll wake up
yeah.
early.
So whoever's the last one out of the two of us to wake up,
Yeah.
then she'll wake up at that time, kind of thing.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
cool, man. So you have that's good, Alhamdulillah. You have a good you have a routine now. I remember. So one of the reasons, FYF, that we've been trying to get a session earlier, but Muzzy is not a morning guy.
Wow. I thought about mentioning that, but I was like, that's below the
You
belt,
guys
man.
said weekend at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and I'm like, dude, I
Yes.
don't wake up that early on weekdays, like out of choice.
Yeah.
So that's not happening. If you want to do weeknights, great.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But weekend mornings, guys, that's my time to sleep.
Oh
Honestly,
my God.
that's usually my time to sleep as well, but I would say that has changed in the last little while. And then obviously, I want to do these sessions, so with Zishan, it just turns up to be that timing. And it's weird though, because after we would record, I would get so much stuff done, because I got the house pretty much to myself, right? Like every wife is sleeping, kids sleeping, and it's perfect. But recently, Niall gets up at 8. Doesn't
Okay.
matter what day it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So my weekends are also my weekdays now because, and then I usually, because he doesn't want to go back to bed, right? So I usually then tend
Of
to
course
spend
not.
my time with him. So it's interesting, Mazzy. I was gonna ask you, like, how long are the naps? And is it like, do you guys keep that set where it's like, okay, Zemel is always you, and then Zayan is with, let's say, with Tuba, or is it just kind of, hey, you know what, today you shift duties and like, is that how it works
No,
or?
so before we had Zimmel, I'll go back a little bit. So when we just had the one child, I was very, very hands off,
Yeah.
right? I was the fun parent, right? So I'd play with him and whatnot, but eating, changing, bedtime was all her. And then what we realized when we were expecting the second was that's going to have to change. So then I started taking some of that on, and now it's to the point where if he sees me, he's not going to go to anybody else. Like if his cousins are there, friends are there, like he's kind of stuck to me, right? So even when like he comes home from school, I gotta hide. I'll be in my office. He'll come up here, check on me for a little bit, and if he sees that I'm ignoring him, then he'll kind of leave, right? So I'm always with Zayan. So putting him to bed, that's me. Lunch and dinner, it's me. As long as I'm home for lunch, then yeah, it'll be me. And then Zimmel is kind of like here and there. It's mostly Tuba, but if she's busy, if she's got something to work on, then it'll be me. Nap time, it's usually Tuba that puts her down. But by the time that she's getting up, it's kind of like the time I'm getting off of work. So then I'll kind of pick her up after the nap, and then I'll
Mm.
have both kids basically from like 5 to like 8:30 ish,
Mhm.
and then then I'll have Zimmel on my own kind of thing. So it's just the way that Tuba's business kind of works, where she'll manage the house during the day, the kids and whatnot, and then when I'm done work time, then I can kind of chip in, and she can kind of do her own thing. So yeah,
Nice.
it's been interesting. My parents have been kind of here and gone, traveling and whatnot. So when they're around, like here, they're here today. So Zimmel's probably going to be in bed at like midnight tonight instead of like 10:30, just because she's chilling with my parents,
Got it.
right?
Wow.
So
But do they
Okay.
sleep easily? Like, or do you find that, because I don't know if
no,
you guys
both
sleep
of
train.
them.
You didn't sleep train them, right? Or
Well,
hybrid sleep train?
yeah, I mean, not officially, right? Like we
Yeah.
did the 1 year let them cry method for Zayan, and then he got sick one night after we had him down for like a good 2-3 days, where like okay, it's working. He gets sick.
Yeah.
Doctors like keep him with you this tonight because he was throwing up even in his sleep. And then just that one night kind of broke it. So now when we started school routine, like in the summer, we tried to get him to okay, you got to go to bed early. So what we do is like I'll take him to bed. We'll read like a book or something, read our duas and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then it's dependent on his mood. So sometimes he'll be like, can you wait for 2 minutes? And his 2 minutes is like an hour, right? Where he's going to be tossing and turning and then constantly checking to see if I'm still next to him. Or like today, he was just like, yeah, you can go, right? So
Oh, that's nice.
it's mood
It's a
dependent.
win.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
for Zimmel, it's somebody has to be there. Like she'll constantly check. And she likes flopping around the bed. Like there'll be times that I'll wake up and like her feet are on my face, kind of thing. But she's like checking to see where you are, right? So
That's so
Oh my
it is what it
God.
is.
Oh man,
Hey,
we're
whatever
we're
works for you, man. Whatever
I,
works for you.
yeah,
Honestly, yeah,
exactly.
no judgment. We're trying like we try to modified version of sleep training and stuff as well, where but the thing is he got sick as well, and then all that, like you said, right, all that wipes out. But so to now, what he does is that he would want someone to be around, same thing, right? So that while he's going to sleep, I see him like if I close my eyes, he comes really close to my face and he just like touches it to see like what's
Oh,
happening. And
Yeah.
then he would try to like so yesterday or the day before he tried to kiss my cheek and stuff to see if I would wake up. And then when I didn't respond because I know he's trying to do it, he's just like he's trying to wake me up, right? And then
Yeah.
it was so hard to ignore, but I just ignored him. And then he went to sleep. And then I
Yeah.
walked out.
wow.
Oh man, it felt so terrible. But like now we're trying to do the same thing that okay, we're gonna have to go back and do the thing where we do the thing. We have it like we try to routine like okay we have to do a office or like the book and the was and everything. But man, that I don't know, I think 7 to 8 month mark he was perfect. Like he would fall asleep, no issues, and I was like, yeah, alhamdulillah, man, this is amazing. We did it. And then,
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like, so when we first started the routine where I'm gonna start taking over so that Dupa can get back to work, Zimmel did not want to sleep with me at all. So the way she would check would be she'd be like feeling around, and then she'd get to the beard, and she's as soon as she feels the beard hair, she starts crying. She's like, okay, this is not my mom, it's my dad, kind of thing, right? So like that took a long time, but it was just like that whole feeling around. And when I know she's feeling, I'd be like trying to hide my face, kind of thing, just so that she doesn't get to the beard, right? And then eventually,
Oh
I
my
guess she
God.
figured it out. She's like, there's no way out of this, so might as well make peace with this guy, and then see if that works.
yeah, he's
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah,
How
man.
about you, Zishan?
Zachariah will usually wake up like between 8:30 and 9. Then we'll put him down for a nap around 12:30, and he'll nap for about 2 hours, and then wake up around 2 to 2:30, depending on when he sleeps. If he sleeps at 12, then wake up at 2. If he sleeps at 2:30, he'll wake up at sleep at 12:30. He'll wake up at 2:30, and then go for 6 hours. And then let's say he wakes up at 2, then by 8 o'clock, he say his du'as. If he has to take a bath or whatever, do all that, read him a book,
Yeah.
say the du'as, and then we just put him into his crib, and then he'll fall asleep um till the morning. But like he has like sometimes he'll wake up at nighttime, and um sometimes he'll wake up and he'll take his blanket. Like he has a blanket that he loves, so he'll throw that over the thing because he knows that when that's out, we'll come and give it back to him. So yeah. Then anyway, I mean, mashallah, alhamdulillah, he does good. It's yeah, we just have to.
Has he thrown a pillow and everything else
Well,
out too?
no, we don't have a pillow in there with
Oh,
him.
okay,
He
okay.
just has like he put him in the sleep sack, he put him with his blanket, his pacifier
Yeah.
thing, and yeah.
Interesting. So we
So,
had like one of those small pillows, right? Like the one that has
okay.
like a shape and whatever, and
Yeah.
like a bunny or something, or like a little those smaller blankets with like a animal or
Oh yeah,
an
yeah.
animal, something like that, right?
Uh-huh.
So right when he basically lost all the training, he would just throw everything out, just in protest, like just
Because he
everything, just
knows,
like
right?
because eventually he would
Yeah.
fall asleep and we'd go check in on him, and the blanket, the pillow, the even if he has a bottle or something, whatever was inside is now outside.
Yeah.
And even if because sometimes we have like let's say another sleeper hanging as a spare in case something happened like he leaks or whatever, that would be on the floor too. He would take everything out just to get us to come.
Oh
So
my God. I mean, they know,
they know,
man. They
man.
know.
I hear you.
Like,
Wow.
Yeah, they're
huh.
smart. They're so smart.
Um, yeah. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. They're good kids.
Alhamdulillah,
You
yeah.
know what? They're good kids. They're all good kids. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
maybe they'll grow
otherwise,
up one day and watch this.
man.
You guys are good. Don't worry. We love you.
Oh yeah, yeah. We should
oh
be
my gosh.
we should be careful about what we say.
Yeah.
No, man.
Good stuff.
Alhamdulillah, man. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what else has been like? What do you? I mean, when you do get that sweet spot, 10:30, 12. Like, what do you do for yourself? Like, any particular hobbies, anything you've picked up, or
I
or
know
how do you
uh,
absolutely.
relax? Huh?
I
Sorry.
see
yeah.
Muzzy. I see Muzzy online.
I see you online too.
Wait,
So
working?
actually, so no, actually, what happened was in the summer. I was really bored, So I reached out to Zishan because he had the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay.
And my wife and kids were out of the country, so I ended up picking one up. And we played Rocket League for a little bit, but man, mashallah, he's at least like 600 times better than I am. So
Yeah,
we
Zishan is
never could
next
keep up.
level.
Next level. And then Idris is even like friend of Zishan's is like
Yeah.
even more ahead. So I was like, yeah, I can't do this. So yeah, it just depends. If I'm tired, I'll probably just sit down with the Nintendo Switch and just play something, and then that little pop up on that corner. Zishan is online. Bracket Rocket League.
Yeah, we
Right.
never talk. We never chat. We just see each other online. We're like, okay, I see NBA, Muzzy, NBA, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So it's just been. I'm almost done NBA, by the way. I'm
oh
just like
wow.
I've just been playing my career thing, and as soon as I'm done this finals, I'm done.
Okay,
I've got Zelda on deck that I need to start. So
I have that
um,
too.
so I need to start playing that. Other than that, I mean, I wish I was doing something interesting, right? For a while, I tried doing some cybersecurity courses and stuff, but honestly, at that time, it's just so dead, like drained that I didn't like nothing was sticking, right? So I just kind of gave up on that.
Same here,
Uh,
man. I
Uh,
hear you.
what
I
I
tried to. Yeah,
Yeah,
go on.
one of the other things that I was trying to do was like, okay, what if I do some of my mundane office tasks during that time and then use the daytime to study? So that kind of works a little bit more. So if I drop off Xeon and then I have got some time, I'll study instead of doing some of the regular day-to-day work, and then after 10 p.m. kind of come back into the office and do some of the other stuff. But lately,
okay.
it's been keeping up with this damn housing market,
What are you doing to keep up with the
honestly.
housing market?
So I've got that investment property up in London, right? And then my
Yeah.
tenants have let me know they're moving out, and I'm trying to deciding between selling and buying something closer
Yeah.
here, but just the numbers, trying to make them make sense. Like,
Not in the
Mm-hmm.
GTA. They just do not make sense in the GTA. It's
yeah,
insane.
it doesn't make sense GTA at all. So I'm like, okay, how can I get closer and not lose like, my dollars to house ratio or dollars to
Yeah.
square foot ratio kind of thing, right? Because I've got a nice like detached home. When I bought it, it was a year old, and like it was like a potential home that I could kind of move into at some point. But
Yeah.
then now it's just been like, if I sell it, what do I buy?
Yeah.
And then just yesterday, the next door house sold for like crazy
Zishan is
amounts,
trying
right?
to
So
imply something.
I'm trying to tell him, trying to give him a message. Where like, hello, come to Texas.
I think that's a
yeah,
message
we
to
looked at
everyone.
Texas too, if you remember, Zishan. We were sending those videos back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Random towns, though, in Texas, luxury homes, like
Yeah.
next level homes, 450K, and I'm like, dude, like that was my down payment.
I know. I
Yeah.
remember
Like,
Zishan sending the same thing because we were talking. So he's like, "Oh, you should come down here, man. Like, the housing market's so much better." And then, like, for like a week straight, I was getting Instagram links from this guy.
Yeah, I think you sent one today, didn't you, Zishan? Yeah, you did.
I did. I
You
did.
sent me one today, yeah.
Oh man,
So
too
it's just
funny.
been like trying to keep up with that. Like my neighbor just sold, um, and these aren't big homes, but like this is literally 1.5 times my purchase price. Sorry, 2.5 times my purchase
2.5
price.
times your purchase price. Yeah.
2.5, right? Like it's
In like
been
a few years.
insane. 4 years. It was exactly 4 years yesterday,
Yeah.
and that's exactly when that house sold yesterday, the
Yeah.
neighbor house. And
That's
I'm
messed
just
up.
like, okay, fine. Let's say I
Mashallah.
do sell, but like, what do
Yeah.
I buy?
Yeah,
So it's just like, yeah,
you've already lost money by the time the transaction finished. You're like, what do I do
yeah,
now? It's
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
It's
I mean, I've got like this on my second screen here. What I was working on before doing this was like looking at all of these calculations. Like, okay, if it sells for X amount, how much after paying off this? What can I buy?
Mm.
Making like
yeah,
realtor fees and like legal fees and land transfer tax, all of that, like, and still come out ahead. And the answer is no. Whatever I tried just doesn't work
yeah.
unless I go
Wow,
to like
man.
even further away from here, right? So it's been
Right.
yeah, it's been a lot of like grown up activities these days, man. Can't believe we're all in our 30s and kids and
Oh my
whatnot.
gosh. I know. I know. We're not 31 anymore.
No.
I still have
But
a few days. I still have
that
a few
was
days.
sorry,
Yeah.
that was still had a few
I still have a
days.
few days. Please let me have this.
Oh man, that was, at
Uh,
32, it's a whole new set of body pains and all of that.
I think I'm getting the preliminaries of that already. So that
Oh, it's
like
starting.
be prepared the day of. You're gonna feel it.
Yeah, don't sneeze wrong.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
have you
Or
ever had a
sleep wrong, or stand up
yo
wrong, or
man?
turn wrong.
When did sleeping on your side become painful? Like, so I'm usually a back sleeper, but like
When did sleeping become painful?
yo, this one time, man, I woke up and I'm like, I feel like I was like laying under a lot of bricks or something. Like, what the heck is going on? And it was just, I realized that I was just on my side the whole night. I'm like, I used to be on the side all the time. How is this
Oh man.
painful?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
no. For me, I have mild sleep apnea actually. So when I sleep, my brain wakes up many times at night. I don't even realize it's waking up. And so even though I get like a 7 hours of sleep, when I wake up, I'm not like fresh because subconscious like I've woken up actually so many times. And it happens more when I'm on my back versus when I'm on my side. So when I'm on my back, it's just harder for the oxygen to go through because the oxygen's not going through smoothly. Then my brain wakes up thinking it's like, oh, we need to get some oxygen in.
Mm.
And yeah, anyway, I haven't dealt with it for a few years. I need to get back into uh, either figuring out how to stay on my side or the like a machine to like pump the air or whatever.
Yeah, those things they're uncomfortable, man. Like my dad has one, and
Yeah,
he's like, even what do they call it? A CPAP,
CPAP.
CPAP
Yeah,
machine. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, it's really uncomfortable. So he gave up on it. He's like, I'd rather deal with the sleep apnea. But then everybody's case is different, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
Everybody.
it depends on the severity as well, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
it's
Like
insane,
by
right?
midday, like by the end of the day, I'm just like if I'm on the couch, I could just knock out. Um,
I think that's universal on this call, by
yeah,
the
I think
way.
that.
No, actually, I don't remember ever falling asleep on the couch, like
Oh,
at
Oh,
nighttime.
you need
Yeah, I don't know
harder
what the.
days.
No, for me, it's just like if I feel like I'm tired and I'm gonna knock out, I want to be in bed because
that's
maybe it's
good.
just like sleeping wrong and like next thing you know like
That's true.
your
Yeah,
neck's kind of hurting and whatnot. So for me, it's
honestly,
always been like I want my bed.
I agree. You know what? It's never on purpose, by the way. I don't like, it's not like I choose, you know? So this one
Yeah.
time, I think I mentioned it on this call too, where my wife was, she was doing something and she doesn't see me. She sees me in the back. And Nile is in my lap, by the way. I didn't even realize
Okay.
this. So both of us are sleeping. So she's like, oh, hey, so, are you still watching this or can I change the channel, right? And no response. And she's like, okay, like what the heck? She's like, you must really like the show. And she's like, okay, well, at least you can say is no, right? I have no. She tells me this later, by the way. And she walks over and she's like, I just can't believe like you have like a 5 6 month old in your lap and you are passed out while the TV is on and lights are on. Like how did you pass out, right? And I'm like, bro, I don't even know. One moment I know
Yeah.
I was watching TV, and next moment I know I'm in some other place and you wake me up.
Oh man.
But it's happened to me
Yeah.
a lot now, a lot more, I would say now with the crazy days. Like at least this year, at least 4 to 5 times. One time was obviously was with I was in my lap, and the other times I'm just like sitting there and watching TV, and then next thing I know, passed out. Right?
But were you guys ever big on like taking naps during the day growing up at all, or?
Not really. My mom
No.
tried to force me,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah, same here. I wasn't, but I've seen like, some people that do or they grew up taking naps all the time, and then now they can pretty much pass out anywhere. But for me, it's always a challenge.
Really. So
So I
sleep
mean,
has never been an
I
issue.
can pass out.
Yeah, go
Sorry, go
on.
ahead though.
No, 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 go
I
ahead.
can pass out anywhere, but it's
Yeah.
not a like, oh, good for you, you can pass out anywhere. It's because my brain is just so
Oh,
sleep deprived naturally that like I will fall asleep. Um,
Hmm.
like it's
but like
easy
when
for
I
you to fall
was
asleep
using,
because of the
sorry,
tiredness. I'm saying you're easy to fall asleep
correct,
because of your tiredness. Yeah.
Yeah.
correct. Once I'm engaged in something, if I'm doing something, then I'm fine. If it's like I'm watching a TV show that I don't really care about, like I'll just fall asleep. And the reason I started to look into it, like why is it that I'm doing this? Because sometimes I was driving home from work,
Yeah.
and like I would just get like dozy, right? Like, why am and I'm like, okay, let me look into this, find out what it is. And then they do all the stuff and they hook up everything to your head, and you sleep there to test it all
Yeah.
out, right?
Oh,
And
wow.
and then yeah, so then they're like, yeah, you have sleep apnea. So Rice is always like, oh wow, you could fall asleep so quickly. And I'm like, yeah,
I'm so tired.
Full sleep, right?
Yeah.
I'm not getting a proper sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and then the other thing is, okay, let's say when Zachariah goes to sleep, by that time, and then I said, as I mentioned, like, but once you put him to sleep, that's when you can actually do whatever you need to do around the house. So you clean the kitchen and clean the toys up and vacuum and blah blah blah. That's done. You pray. Okay, by that time, it's hour and a half after,
Yeah.
and you still need time for yourself, like to do something or do nothing even, just to
Yeah.
just
Sit there.
uh, yeah, because otherwise you feel like the whole day went by and you didn't get to do anything.
Yeah.
I get
Especially with this
frustrated.
whole working from home and like pandemic lockdowns and whatnot. I guess it was like really amplified this year,
Yep.
right? That you literally were home 24/7 at some
Hmm.
points, right?
And you
So for
couldn't
me,
draw
I
the
was
boundaries, right?
yeah,
Between,
you couldn't.
you know.
Yeah. For me, it was just like I would actually wait till at least one of them was asleep, and then I'd go do groceries at like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. almost, because
Nice,
Superstore in Oakville is open till 11, right? So I'd go there to do groceries, and like that would be my me time.
nice.
Thuba would be like, I want to come, and I'm like, no, no, you
You
stay,
relax at home,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, like
Wow.
you're just take your me time. Zimmel's gonna be asleep soon. You can watch your show, whatever. I'll be back. I'll be back soon, and then next thing you know, I'm coming back at like 11:30, right after walking through the whole store, and then Walmart's right across the street to go there for a little bit, right? So it's just been the whole pandemic thing. Like back, I mean, I've been remote way longer than you guys have been doing remote work, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm hitting 10 years in February. So
Wow.
it's for me like the line was blurry in the beginning for a little bit, but then the routine was 5:30 ish, kind of shut down the laptop and then go go to the gym or step out, right? And then
Yeah.
with everything that was closed down, not like I was going to the gym at when the lockdown started, but at least like you'd step out for a little bit or with the
Yeah.
kids go for a walk or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So always been it's always been tough. But with the pandemic, it was just next level.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I think the
Oh, well,
amplification was crazy.
yeah, and like working from home with the little one, it's just like it's tough in the sense that you can't. I can't go downstairs really. I need to sometimes. I have to go downstairs, if I need to get something or whatever. But as soon as you do that, it just resets his whole like. Oh,
Oh,
okay,
dad's home.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Baba's here. Okay, okay, I'm like, I feel so bad. And I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
can't really stay here. And
Yeah.
then, um,
It breaks your heart
yeah,
too. And when you
yeah, for
have to
sure.
like it's always like sometimes I just tell him like Miss can you just put something on the stairs, man? Like I feel
Yeah,
so bad like
for sure.
and he's not walk so he stands now but he doesn't walk. So most of the time it's just
Okay,
that crawl. He would stand and then he would start crawling or whatever.
yeah.
And he just says da, 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 and he just comes running. And so now I know. So the thing is, we let him climb the stairs. So I know you guys think it's dangerous, but I don't have gates all on all the stairs. I only have on some. But the thing is, we taught him how to climb the stairs.
Hmm.
He's still fuzzy on how to get down. So now he knows exactly where I am. Okay, upstairs.
Okay,
So even if sometimes if I call out, say, hey, can
yeah.
I get this? Can you just leave this here? His ears are perked up. He's like, oh yeah, I
No.
forgot. He's upstairs. So then nothing you do, no matter how much you distract him, will stop him from climbing up. And basically, even if I close the door, he's just gonna come here and now he knows to knock and stuff too. So he'll just be knocking. He's like da 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 da, and I'm just like, okay, now I can't say no. I feel so bad.
Oh man.
But I totally
Yeah.
understand, man. I don't know how like even for you, Mazi, like I don't know how you like dealt with and separation and obviously like you talked about ignoring Zayan, for example, after he
Yeah.
left from school. But I don't know, man. I'm too soft on him. I think sometimes. Here's the thing. I'm hard on him in front of him, but like otherwise, I'm just like, oh man, I can't do that. He's such a
Yeah.
baby. He's just a kid. How can I do? Like, how did you get over that?
So the first thing I actually did was well, in all of my conference calls, I was noticing there was kids in the background, right? Even if there were older kids with like homeschooling or sorry, online schooling and whatnot. So it was happening quite a bit. And then my coworkers were like, yeah, for like the really little ones, they had like something in the office, right? So I had like a little station for him, kind of here where he just sit down. One of my old laptops is there. He'll just pretend like he's doing something on it because he's at that age where he's doing pretend play. And then he'd ask me a question, I'd be like, I can't talk right now. And then he'd ask it again, like I can't talk right now. So just like, but I mean, Zayan is a little bit older, right? But when
Yeah.
Zimmel is in here, like, so the mistake that I did recently was, she watches like these nasheeds, and I've got my personal computer back there. So she'll like I put it on there for her once. And so now every morning, whenever she wakes up, she'll come up here, sit on that computer for a bit, watch like it'll repeat twice, and then she'll kind of leave on her own. So it's just been like it's different. But with
Yeah.
the older one, just because he's older, he kind of understood that, yeah, this is not
Yeah.
playtime. With the
Yeah.
younger one, like, she kind of does her stuff and leaves. So it's been different. But like I've got like this toy fridge like right
Yeah.
over here, and then there's like fruits and blocks and whatnot. So like my
Yeah.
office is a mess half the time. So I mean, on our we use Teams. We've got like
Yeah.
a background, like a corporate background to use.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you can't see anything, but like with the blurred background, you'd be
you can
able to
still
see
see.
everything.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'd have to clean up if I'm ever on like a customer call on like Zoom, for example.
Before we
Right. So it's
started,
just been,
I clean, but you still see that little banner there, right? So that's
yeah.
just a little thing.
It's just blurred out though. We don't see it. So
I have like a station here too, so it's the same thing, but he just doesn't care. Most of the time, he wants to stand using my chair and he wants to see what I'm
mm,
doing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And oh my God, it's like
Or the
I'm not
keyboard
No,
even,
banging.
I
I've
can't.
got
Yeah,
I've
oh,
I
got a
can't
spare
work on my
keyboard
laptop.
here. Yeah. I've
yeah,
got
That's
yeah,
a spare keyboard here, so I just like put it on the floor for them. Like, here, go
oh
bang on
nice,
this one.
yeah, yeah.
nice. Yeah. No, once he sees my laptop, like he has to come
That's
and
it.
like try to work on it.
Yeah, he has to
Yeah.
So
press buttons like and it's just like here's the thing, man. I don't know about you guys, but like for me, I was like, oh man, I'm scared when I was a kid, right? Like when my dad brought a computer home, and I was like for like months, and this was like when I was like 8, 9 years old, man. For months, I didn't even touch that thing because I was like, I'm afraid I'll break it, and my dad would get mad, right? But as
yeah.
a kid, my dad would take me to work sometimes here and there, right? And he'd be like, you would just sit in your seat, man. You did not even want to, you weren't even
Oh
curious to
wow.
walk out and check anything. Like you would just sit there.
Oh
I'd be like,
wow.
go somewhere, go do something. And I'd be like, nah, man, I don't want to. And here this kid is fighting. So I have one of those sit stand desks. Sometimes I raise it. So now he's gotten to the point where he grabs it and he stands using it. And, so he can just reach barely the top. So he gets on and he's just like trying to see what
Ah.
he can pull.
Okay,
Sneaky, man. Like he pulled some papers the other day, and then I didn't realize he pulled a pen, and you can imagine what happened with that. So
man. Let me ask you a question. Do you use a sit stand desk often? Like, do you use it every day while you're working?
not every day,
Really?
but a couple of times a week, yeah. Because the thing
Okay.
is, I didn't realize that if I don't move, like if I unless I have to go to the bathroom or because I don't eat lunch either these days, so it's just like the one breakfast for me. But that I
Yeah.
usually have it a little bit later in the day, like around like 10:30, 11, and then that's what I'm going down for. Otherwise, I do not move.
Yeah.
So I'd have my water bottle with me and everything. So I realized that I'm just sitting there. And I found myself that during meetings, I like to walk around, right? So what I
Okay.
tend to do is I just raise this and I stand and I just pretty much pace in my room here in the office room and or just walk out because I have the wireless headsets
Yeah.
and I don't turn on the camera all the time and my team is cool with that. So yeah, it's been a huge improvement to do that.
Okay.
Just that hey, just during meetings, I just pop it up and then like afterwards I'd bring it down. But there are times where I have spent the entire day standing and
Oh wow.
and then I'm really tired, obviously, because I'm like, oh
Yeah.
crap, I didn't realize that I spent like good 7, 8 hours just standing. But yeah,
What about you, Muzzy? Do you use a standing desk?
Yeah. So the watch tells you if you've been sitting for an hour, right? So I've got my smartwatch. So it'll tell you if you've been sitting for an hour, or you configure it. So mine's been set to an hour. So it'll vibrates if I'm in a call or whatever. Like people will see me look at my phone, and then I'll just press the buttons and then kind of go up, right?
yeah.
And then just stand
You
kind
can
of
you
thing. And
adjust that yourself?
yeah. So mine sits on top of like my existing desk.
Oh, you have
Oh.
the riser.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's a
oh,
riser.
okay.
It's not the whole desk. I mean,
Yeah,
they I don't know why they're doing this because they paid for this one. My company paid for this one,
yeah,
and then yesterday they just shipped a whole new table, like where the whole table goes up and down. So they're giving us a whole bunch of this ergo stuff, new chair,
yeah.
new everything. So
Ah. Okay.
uh,
Okay.
we're gonna get one of those soon.
Okay.
But yeah, I do.
And the riser one, you can still like type and stuff. Like you can type up there like, when you're higher up.
Yeah, because the
It has
keyboard
a
tray is
keyboard.
attached to it.
Yeah, it has a
Oh.
keyboard
Okay.
tray
Well, send me a
separate.
picture of it afterwards because I want
Yeah, yeah,
to. Yeah. Okay.
It's
yeah.
I'll be
I'll send it
definitely
curious.
a more economical solution, Ishan, if that's what you're wondering, because the
Yes, that's
desk
exactly
setup
what I'm
itself
wondering.
is it's like 300, 400 bucks. At least
Yeah.
here, I bought the frame separately and then the tabletop separately. But the riser,
Okay.
the option he has, that's also pretty good. I think you
Yeah.
might
Okay.
actually like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's been worth it, man. Because I got mine when I had my back issue. So
Yeah.
the doctor wrote a note, and then I was gonna buy one anyway. But then our ergo team was like, we can provide one for you.
Yeah.
But it's been a lifesaver. So every like
Oh,
I don't, not every hour, but like if I feel like I've been sitting for too long, then I'll
yeah.
I'll raise up and stand and work for a little bit. There was a time I
Okay.
used to, on the treadmill, I put a little shelf for the keyboard,
Yes.
and then the little ledge for a book, whatever. I'd put the
Yeah.
laptop on there. I was doing that for a while too, but you can't do that on calls, man, because like you'll run out of
No.
breath
I
faster.
remember you showed me that. You showed me that, and I had done the same thing, and it was good actually. Like, um,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're doing like, yes, like simple tasks, like if I'm doing admin work, it's perfect because you don't need to
Mhm.
think as often, and it's just
Yeah.
quiet. You're in your routine. It's okay. You get your steps in and whatnot. But with
Yeah.
uh with
Yeah.
actual work, and if you're doing anything like critical thinking or
Right.
doing a call or whatever, it just doesn't work. So I haven't done the
And
treadmill thing in a while, but the sit stand desk, yeah, definitely. I think it's worth it.
All
how
right.
do you
So
find
look.
your productivity between sitting and standing?
I think I'm more productive standing.
Same here. Like I
Hmm.
even if I'm standing and I'm dozing off, I'm not doing, I'm like I find that I think way better. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. I don't know if it's the blood flowing better or something, but it has made a huge impact on my, not even just like I would say the product, just the quality, I would say,
Hmm.
of what
Okay.
I'm doing, what I'm focused on. And I get really good focus as well. So I know that
Yeah.
if I have something super serious, I just do a standing thing and I know it'll get done. Where I think if I'm sitting, I'll just be like, oh, like I'd relax and I'd be like this, or I'd get distracted or I'd see my phone and
Yeah.
stuff.
No,
But
that's
if I
true.
stand, I don't do that because I'm standing, right? I need to make sure that I keep standing, and I tend to be
Right.
less, uh,
More, they say it's
distracted.
because there's more blood flow in the body and whatnot. So,
Yeah, and less
you know,
chance of you getting distracted, I guess. That's
yeah,
another plus. So
for
Okay.
sure.
I wanted to switch the topic, discuss something with the two of you. So you mentioned, cybersecurity, whatever, right? You're doing the course. But let me just switch topics on, that when I have started this conversation, I want to talk about it on a CST episode and figure out his thoughts and something that's like the Google Puck and Alexa, blah blah.
Hmm.
like smart home devices,
That
you
what's
mean?
your thoughts on the smart home device? And why do you hate them?
Oh, it's not about hate. I personally feel they
Okay.
provide a lot of value, obviously. But the thing is, it all
Yeah.
comes at a cost. For me, over the last, I would say, a couple of years, I've gotten very serious about privacy, right? Like you see those marked ads and stuff. That's why I pretty much gave up on all social media, right? The only thing I have is just like I would say I get my news feeds from like Reddit, and then there's the basic WhatsApp, Instagram. But I used to have the
Mhm.
Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I got rid of it all because I found it was just way too invasive, and I personally caught myself constantly scrolling something, and even today, right? Like anything you search, you find that it's everywhere. I personally found it super creepy. Now, mind you, there are people who are perfectly okay because they're like, "Oh, I got nothing to hide." I'm like, it's not about anything to hide. It's insane the amount of algorithms that are at work just to get you to buy something, right? God forbid you search on Amazon that you're looking for, I don't know, like a toy, right?
Standing
Like,
desk.
and then, or
Okay.
even stand. Listen, I searched the other day a standing desk thing on um, one of my laptops, right? And my Google account was logged on. I normally don't do that. I log off Google as soon as I'm done, right? And here's the weird part. Amazon was sending me an email on my Gmail about standing desks, but I didn't search it on Amazon. It was
Yeah.
just
I
a
mean,
basic search on Google or
right.
whatever, right? And
Yeah.
this sort of interconnectivity and this tracking of cookies and stuff, it's really gotten me to the point that I'm actually currently working on something at home where I don't know if you guys have heard of this. So you guys know the Raspberry Pi device, right? I think Muzzy, I'm definitely sure you know. So I got one of
Yeah.
those, and I have now basically set up like a rerouted DNS server at home, right? And it's called AdGuard, right? I'm sure you've heard of that too.
Hmm.
So I found that the ads have gone down quite a bit. The tracking is less, but there's still a lot, and obviously you can pay for, I guess another list of sites that you can reroute through the DNS. So basically, the way it works, Zishan, is that adding an extra filter, right, in your network. So what's going to happen is that if I go to a website and like say if I run an app, like on my phone, like I just run an app, what that app does is that, those little banner ads that you're seeing, it's actually hitting a different server for that to get the content of that ad.
Okay.
And because it's
Yeah.
all online, right, it's tracking you via what's called your tracking or advertising ID. And what it does is that it tries to cater everything to you, Zishan or Daud or Muzamma, right? So
Yeah.
what's going to happen is that in order for it to track you, it needs to feed off of something. So what this setup does is that it kind of intercepts that. So what's going to happen is that every time an application or anything is making a call to that specific URL or IP or whatever, that's already been marked as, hey, this is a Facebook IP or internet address, we will basically send it into oblivion. So it's never going to reach Facebook. And since it never reaches whatever it's trying to get to, no ad is displayed. So let's say if you come to my house and you're on my Wi-Fi, most of the time, any of those little ads that you see in apps and stuff, they won't load. So you won't have those. But the moment you turn
It's kind
off
of like,
your,
Okay.
Zishan, you have like on Google Chrome, you've got AdBlock Plus or whatever, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
this is
So
network wide.
what that
Yeah,
yeah, this is network wide, but the reason that works is because it's got a list of like servers and IPs or whatever where it
yeah,
knows these ads come from, so it
yeah,
just blocks them from them
Oh.
hitting your browser.
yeah,
So what you can do with a Raspberry Pi, Raspberry Pi is basically like a mini computer.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
literally like that big. I've
Right.
got one in my bag, but
Yeah.
yeah,
you can configure one to be it's kind of like a gateway. You can kind of say where all of your network
Okay.
traffic at your home network has
yeah,
to go through that for it to hit the internet, and then when it comes in from the internet, it has to go through that for it to hit any of your devices.
exactly.
Okay.
So that
I see. Right.
device, I think the one that I tried it for a little bit, but I stopped. The one I used was called Pi-hole.
Yeah, you got used
But
Okay.
Pi-hole. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
so
use
what that
AdGuard.
was,
So
yeah, so that basically has that list of where which
Okay.
servers are tracking or which servers are
yeah,
sending ads, and then it just blocks them. So it never reaches your device, whether it's your computer
yeah,
or your laptop, your
Okay.
iPad, iPhone, or whatever, right? So
yeah,
Right.
it's kind of good to have, but though I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I've
yeah,
got, I think, two Google Homes and an Amazon Alexa in my house, and we use ours
So,
every day, right? I, it's not more like it's not like I don't have anything to hide. It's just more like I see the benefit in
yeah,
having
yeah,
it, right? I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think like I get influenced by ads anyway, right? So if I search up something, it's
Yeah.
going to give me an ad, whoop de doo. It doesn't really make a difference to me. There was that what was that Netflix documentary where they were talking about how it makes a digital twin of you and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
The social dilemma.
Social Dilemma, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh, for me, that was like, okay, that's pretty cool, but great, whatever, right? Like, I don't think it affects me. Um,
yeah. Hmm.
there's like 7.5 billion of us, right? So like, how's it gonna do, or
Yeah,
how badly is it gonna affect me, right? So, with the kids,
yeah,
the hands-free part is perfect for us. Um, you know, right now with both of the kids separate age or different ages, they've both got different interests, right? So Zion will be in the basement. All I got to do is say, "Hey Google, put on whatever," right,
yeah.
on the basement TV, and then I'm
And then it'll
upstairs or
go. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
It'll do that. If we're out of the house and my parents are at home and they're like, "Oh yeah, there, he's asking for this. How do I put it on?" I don't have to tell my parents how to turn on Disney Plus, right?
yeah, yeah,
I can just do it from my phone and I'll be outside of the house,
yeah,
and it'll Chromecast it and blah blah blah,
yeah,
all of that stuff, right? So,
yeah.
we've
So
got
it's
like the Amazon Alexa.
can.
I wish I had one ecosystem, right? But it's just
I was
tough,
gonna
right?
say, yeah, you're both in Google and Amazon.
Yeah, and that's just because like so our doorbell has been Ring, and that's just because I like the Ring doorbell better than I like the Nest. But then everything
Mm-hmm.
else is kind of like on Google that I have,
Mm,
right?
right, right.
Yeah.
So like I even our outdoor pot lights, I have them set up on a timer, but so outdoor pot lights, I've got a lower level and a top level. The top level we rarely turn on, but the switch for it is like upstairs. So if we're ever downstairs and you want to turn on the pot lights, it's just easy to just say, "Hey, Google, turn on the pot lights," right? And it'll turn it on. And like, we've got,
Yeah.
like, it's on my phone, it's on the two Google Homes. I can even tell Alexa to turn it on, right? So I see the benefit. For me, I think it outweighs the negative
Concerns.
parts of
Yeah.
it, right? So I mean, I
Mm.
have it. I've got a whole bunch of these different sensors around the house, right? Smart lights, or the smart switches, dimmers. One of the ones that we set up recently was on my garage door opener. So we've got an older garage door opener, but now, like, anytime a garage door opens, it'll, on my phone, it'll
It'll
alert
give
me
you a
that,
ping. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, the door's open, the door's closed. Because like often I drive away from the house and I'd be like, oh crap, I don't know if I close the garage door or
Yeah.
not. So that way I can see if I got the notification, or it'll let me know, like, after 15 minutes of it being open, I get an overtime warning that the garage has been open for 15 minutes. Uh,
Mhm.
Even like security cameras and stuff, right? Everything is now all for us. It's all online, right? So I like it. Um, I don't think it, like, it doesn't
Yeah,
bother me, right? I wish I could consolidate it all into Google, but with the Ring doorbell, it won't do it. So I'm stuck with two.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I'm curious, right? Like I have the Ring security system, like camera, doorbell, Alexa as well. So I love it. Like when I go sleep, I'm just like Alexa arm house, and then okay, houses armed, and that's it. Or I
Yeah.
can punch the number, but just or Alexa blah blah blah, and I get the answer. Or I have to have the Google right on the TV is Google. But I want to know, what is the side effects of having this? Like, what is the negative? What is wrong with it? What are they getting from me that should I be concerned about?
No, it's not just about wrong, right? So, I personally, I always question, right, the convenience versus the concerns that I have, and in terms of security, like you see cases of. So here's my challenge is that because of, without getting into a lot of the other details, but like one of the challenges is that, where, for example, a lot of us use our Gmail for banking, or a lot of us have, various different services that are connected to our Google. So if I say, okay, well, is Google secure enough, for example, as an example, or even some of these other services, like for, I don't know how true this was, but I heard some, for example, Ring doorbells were impacted where there was a breach, right, where people's
Yeah.
feeds were, like live feeds were available for anyone to see. So I've heard of porch pirates using some sort of ways to see when, when the owners are home and whatnot, using their smart doorbells, right? This interconnectivity and this Internet of Things, as they call it, right, is a little bit concerning for me, because I'm just like, it's also, it pretty much, and I know I'm gonna get into a tinfoil hat scenario here. It also gets into, 1984, right? Surveillance, basically, right? What is it? Because it's surveillance. Like I can, like,
For
let's say
sure.
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I can check what Muzzy's heart rate is, and based on his heart rate, I can make predictions because of his smartwatch feeding into his Samsung account or whatever, which is then fed into his
Mm-hmm.
Google account for Google Health or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? This building of
Yeah.
ecosystems, this, for me, and again, I'm nobody. Like, they don't care about me right now. But what I'm saying is that, what is the world going to? I'm thinking about, when our children grow up, what kind of world is gonna be they're gonna be living in. So for example, Zishan, like we were talking about TVs, right? Did you know that most of these Sony TVs apparently have a built-in mic in the TV itself
Oh,
too,
oh, I
not
talk
just
to
the
mine all the
remote?
time.
No,
Yeah,
not just the remote, not
all the
just the
time.
remote, by the way, right? And the
Yeah.
TCL one that we were talking about actually gives you a switch to turn it off. But I'm just like, how can I trust that? The fact that it's built in there, and it's just, maybe you're just giving me a good feeling that, yeah, just flip the switch, it's off, don't worry about it, it's all good, right? But now you have TVs with infrared cameras, TVs with regular cameras, TVs with mics. So now the TV can not only see your, presence, it can also see your mood when you're watching something. And again, it's going to try to cater that content to you. And you can argue, hey, I want to be catered to that, right? But at the same time, how can I know that this TV is truly off? Or if some malicious actor gets a hold of it and my family's at home and I'm out and they're watching, or they change the content of my TV, baby monitors, as an example, were hacked. So many Wi-Fi ones, or some of these Chinese ones that you find on Amazon, right? They have back doors built into them, where, you open up, like, there's BuzzFeed articles about this too, obviously, which is like overblown, but there's some serious articles too where people are like, yeah, we don't know, we just bought it off Amazon, and it's all made by some generic company who has barely patched anything in the software, and guess what? Someone somewhere online can pull up a recording or pull up the actual live feed and even talk. And this is something that's in your child's room, for example. So my concern is not about, hey, them finding out about me. My concern is about surveillance. My concern is about, the security of myself and my family, right? So like right now, I do not have a Wi-Fi baby monitor. I have a radio frequency one. Yes, it's not perfect. Yes, it sucks sometimes, but you know what? That's the same thing, right? Like I made that choice. But the more I see things, man, like you can't find a dumb TV. Why can't I find a dumb TV? Why do I need a smart TV, right? Like, what if I don't want a smart TV? What if I don't want something to constantly listen to me? And the thing
But
is,
isn't your phone always listening to you anyway?
yeah, yeah, like I don't have a choice here, right? Like I have to keep the phone. And I told myself, okay, you know what? Banking is made a lot easier for me, for example, for me to do this on my phone. Like I rarely log on. Like when was the last time you guys logged into your bank account through your laptop, for example, right? So then I can't give up the smart piece of that because I'm like, well, I have to make sacrifices somewhere, right? So that's where I'm making my sacrifice. How I have, like next level 2FA on, I have local backup codes, I have biometrics on, like whatever I can do, right? But where I do control, where I'm like, well, you know what? I don't want to connect my TV to the internet, for example, right?
I mean,
Or
like it's trade-offs, right? So,
yeah,
like if, for
exactly.
example, banking, right? Like, okay, so somebody can maybe see how much I have in my bank account, maybe, or what
Yeah.
kind of banking products I have.
Hmm.
But I mean, I trust like TD or CIBC or whatever to, so, that nothing happens to my bank account in the sense that like I don't lose money, my account doesn't get hacked, right? So it's
Yeah.
that level of trust because
You have to.
first of
Yeah.
all, I mean, we're insured on banking, right? We're insured up to
Hmm.
whatever 250K per bank
Yeah.
account, blah blah blah,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Whereas like when I was buying some of the sensors for home, yeah, I could go on Amazon and buy these like Feng Shui whatever
Yeah.
brand and get like the garage sensor, and then now somebody in China now knows when my garage door opens and closes and
Yeah.
who's home, who's not, based off of whatever, right? Or I can go with a reputable company and kind of make that
Yeah.
decision, right? So yeah, I mean, for me, again, like I said, I'm open to a lot of the stuff, but
Yeah. Exactly.
within
Yeah.
reason, within reason, right? I'm not gonna go buy some random brand and then next thing you know, some guy in China is turning my lights on and off, right?
Exactly. And but Buzzy, how many people are doing this? That's the whole point. How many people are gonna
That's
go in
that's the
depth,
problem.
right?
That's the problem.
Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Zishan asked me, I'm like, bro, you want the big brother listening to you? I'm always joking around with him about that,
yeah.
right? But here, case in point, I don't know if you guys have heard about this. I saw this and it really kind of explained to me the gravity of the connectivity. So for example, this guy, again, very immersed in, I think it was a Google ecosystem. So he had his, two-factor authentication with Google. He had smart devices. He had his Chromecast. He has the bank 2FA, some service 2FA on his Gmail. Like his basically his entire world and his personal life, work life, everything was just on Gmail. And for some reason, I don't know what it was, but basically he was notified that he had violated Google terms and conditions, and they not only closed his account, but they wiped it clean. So his account was deleted, all email, everything gone. So all of a sudden, and again, nobody tells you the whole story, but this is not the first case. There's multiple cases like this, right? I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was doing something illegal or whatever. But I found it really odd that a company had so much power by just deleting my account as an example, right? So then what? I lose access to, I mean, sure, I can reset some stuff. Like my smart devices, I can eventually reset it, create another, username or whatever. But the thought of having my 2FA codes or some important document, because some people are very heavily invested in the Google Drive and the Google Suite of products, right? That part really surprised me because I was like, wait a second, if they decide that I just and without explanation, let's say, and they delete my stuff or whatever, and I have a lot of services connected to it, how screwed would I be, right? And I'm asking myself that. And again, I haven't gone that deep into it where I'm just like, oh yeah, you know what, this is gonna really ruin me. But I ask myself how, like for me, I don't think I'm again that comfort level, right? I wasn't comfortable with giving so much power to someone, right? Like believe it or not, I came across this and I laughed at this again. There's something called de-Googling, where there's people who have this theory, right? They're like, okay, well, they have it's it's kind of insane the kind of level of control they have. So they actually go through steps of de-Googling themselves to the point that they buy, Android phones and then completely wipe them, install a custom ROM where you don't need a Google phone to use it. You can still sideload applications. You can do everything that normally an Android can do, but you don't have to log on to Google to use it. Which, by the way, you don't
Right.
right now either. It's just that some services will be limited. This kind of, thwarts that. And then so I started looking into it. I'm like, okay, what about email? What about, something like Google Drive or something, some sort of a secure cloud availability, blah, blah, blah. And there's a whole like I can't even explain it. There's a whole transformation process that you kind of go through where you basically de-Google yourself, and even then you're making a lot of sacrifices, right? You're not going to have a lot of the features that they're offering at whatever the trade-off is. And obviously, I am not at that level yet because I still like some of their services. But that thought of, like I said, right, someone just saying, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, you know what? You violated our terms. So and obviously you can appeal and fight, whatever the case may be. But
Yeah, like
until
I'd
that,
imagine it'd have to be something pretty serious for Google to kind of wipe your account, right? Like,
I don't know.
there was that whole theory Google is actually the CIA. If you
Yeah,
remember that
oh
from
yeah,
like
yeah.
back in the days, right? Like, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
sure. What, CIA? I'm just a regular guy. Whatever,
Yeah,
right? What am
what
I
they
gonna
want,
do
what they
that's
want with me, right? Yeah.
right?
But
But
that
I
power
mean,
part scared me, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, but that power is there everywhere, right? Like I can do something, one slip up, and like the government can come and kick me out of my house or kick me out of the
yeah,
country,
yeah,
right?
pretty
That power
much.
is always going to be there, right? So it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll kind of live in within what I want to do and just make sure I don't bother anybody else,
And I
and then we'll
think,
go from there, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, no, no, exactly, man, honestly. And then I think for me, the combination of that with the surveillance and everything else, I just wasn't, I don't know, I still get creeped out sometimes when I get, such custom tailored ads, and I'm just like, what did I miss? To me, it's a point of bother. But yeah, no, you're right, man. Absolutely. I come across so many folks who are like, oh yeah, I have smart this, smart that, and I'm like, good for you. They're like, oh, you don't use them. I'm
Yeah,
like, no. I'm like, I'm just gonna end it there. No, I don't use those. I don't have anything against them, but I'm not for them either, right? So
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, like one of the things I'm doing at work right now is I'm working with a company called Zebra. They make like barcode scanners and that kind of stuff, right? So what we're doing right now is we're putting these trackers on a whole bunch of medical devices, and then I have things on the wall, and then
Yeah,
we kind of track what's within
yeah,
the hospital, right?
yeah.
And that's just not, it's just so we know who's using equipment. It's more for like if I need equipment, I know where it is. But then I was doing a course through them, and there's trackers on literally everything, right? So one of the examples was Gap, for example. So
Hmm.
if you're at Gap and you're standing looking at jeans, and they were using this on jeans, they've got this down to like very, very minor costs, like cents, where in Gap jeans, not all of them, in some of them, they've actually got an RFID sensor on there.
Hmm.
Okay. And then also the racks that they're on in the Gap store have a sensor on it.
Hmm.
It helps them do inventory and whatnot, right? So that it's there. But then the crazy part of it was this, that you could actually stand in front of a Gap shelf or rack or whatever for, let's say, 10 minutes. And it knows that you then walked out the store, you didn't go to the cashier. So it knows that you were standing in front of these
Hmm.
jeans for a while,
Hmm.
but you didn't buy them and you left the store because it is hitting that signal on your phone,
Yeah,
right? That okay, this guy was there. So then
yeah,
you're going to start getting Gap jeans ads that, oh, hey, are you still
yeah.
thinking about these jeans? That part is a little bit creepy for me because that's me being tracked in a way that I didn't know I was being tracked, right? Like I
Yeah.
know I'm being tracked in a whole bunch of other ways, but the fact that I could be standing in front of a clothing rack and being tracked, right? And it's going to happen eventually everywhere, right? Like at the grocery store even.
I was just gonna
Because these
mention
things are
that.
so cheap. Yeah,
So
these things are going to be so cheap, right? And
I,
you're going to start getting ads. Why are you only buying, Maple Lodge? Why don't you buy this brand?
yep,
Because we know you buy Maple Lodge. We know you bought exactly this.
yep.
That part
So
kind of starts creeping me out at that point,
when I was at
you know?
LCL, we talked about this in concept. That they have the PC Optimum piece, and then they have you who has a PC ID. So now, obviously, if you have your location and stuff on, and the app can track it, it knows you're in store. So right away, it's like, okay, oh, this guy's in store, and then you're in front of I don't know, into international eye looking at rice, or later on you're looking at jam or whatever, and it's doing the same thing, by the way. So they have these. They were talking about concepts of a robo reshelfer, but at the same time, these sensors, like you mentioned, and cameras to notice your face and how you react when you're looking at a product at a particular level, on which level where the shelf is, because there's the whole planogram piece as well for it, right? Where the product
Hmm.
is and how well it sells, it all that matters. And then they talked about how you react to it. So if you have to bend down to it and you're like, oh, forget it, right? It will track that. And it
Wow.
will look at this, you're like, do I want you pick it up? And you see, like they're recording all your reactions. And if you don't buy it, same thing. Guess what? The next refresh of PC Optimum app and offers, you know what? You're getting that offer. You're like,
Gonna be
oh,
on your
hey.
offers, yeah.
You're like, hey, I was thinking about buying
Wow.
that. And then you get it, right? So that's all happening. For example, the Flip Flyers app. You think they're very nice that they're just sending you these flyers? No, they're trying to see what you go through, because then Flip is feeding that information onwards, right? Say, hey, I have these advertising IDs, these people who are looking for the stuff. You should like cater into that. And it's insane, the data mining, right? And that's the part that creeps me out too, because I'm just like, I can't even be, because online I'm tracked, in person now I'm tracked, like I'm tracked everywhere. Cars, like, okay, did you guys hear about the Toyota thing though? Where they want to
The
charge me the
pay
key fob,
subscription fee for your key
the
fob,
key
yeah.
fob. Yeah,
To
they
use
want
your key fob, there's gonna be a subscription fee
to
now for
remote
that.
start on your key fob. They're gonna charge you $8 a month or something, and that's not really something that you have a choice in. I heard, but like you could still say, yeah, I don't want the remote start, right? So then they'll obviously keep that disabled.
Wow.
But this is something that came standard, so I think they ran out of ways to make money, right? But the same thing, man. The cars,
$8 a month?
yeah,
Wow, that's 120 for the year.
just to remote start your car, by the way. And it's not even a good remote starter, right? It's just one of those. It's
Yeah,
like one way.
basic
It's not
one.
even. It doesn't even give you like a notification or something. I think they might have an app or something. But the cars, man, they're connected, right?
Yeah.
On one of the conferences I was at, man, that part really scared me, man. They showed this guy. They were doing this test where this guy hacked some car companies. They didn't mention the company, obviously, but they showed us like basically this videos of some people who were testing this theory because of all these IoT devices and IoT car, like basically internet connected cars. They killed the engine while it was on the road.
It was three Chinese guys in a Mercedes. That's the video that I saw.
I
Where
can't remember. They blocked off everything, but I can't even remember which this was. This was a couple years ago, and I was just like, man, that's some next level stuff. Like, and
yeah,
the
exactly.
and they were nowhere near that person, by the way. This is all through the internet, right? So anyhow,
Yeah.
Lishan's like, whoa. Anyway, but like Muzzy said, right? It's about the trade-offs you're making and what you're comfortable with and how deep, or how deep the rabbit hole you're going, right? Because like I said, there's some people who are just like, yeah, yeah, like hell, I'll do surveys, give me money, right? Like I'll give you willingly information to get the benefit, and people don't care about that, right? Personally,
Yeah, I mean, if I knew
I
it was
care a lot,
safe,
obviously.
I would probably be open with give me a chip and let me just have everything in my arm,
Yeah,
passport, my
just
bank,
inject it into
whatever.
my veins, right?
Just, yeah,
Yeah, the
just
thing
put
is
it
like,
with my booster
I mean,
shot.
We already have that with COVID though, bro.
yeah.
That 5G
I mean, like,
signal.
but the thing is, we're thinking about this stuff, right? But then by the time our kids grow up, it's gonna be the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're gonna be in that
Yep.
already, right? Like they're gonna grow up and like, what do you mean? Like, how does this not know what I want? This should know
Yeah.
what I want,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
In fact, the problem will be
Yeah,
like it knows too much.
why is it not
yeah,
automatically coming to my house?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like,
Why is it not here in a
you know,
single day? Like back in your day, you guys like in the caveman days, it took you 3 days to get a delivery. Like, where's the drone? Why
You
isn't
had
it
to
here yet? You had
you
to
had to order
wait.
yourself back in the day.
Wait, wait. It loaded for you? Like it took time to load for you guys?
Oh
It's
my
instant for
gosh,
me. What are you talking
man,
about? So, yeah, I
interesting
don't know.
stuff.
I mean, this is honestly, all right, sorry, Zishan, we can go forever. Like I've talked
I'm
to
not
so
done
many
with this
people.
conversation yet, but
Well, we can revisit
it's the
this.
conversation here. But huh?
I'm thinking we can always revisit this
What do you think?
topic. It's
Yeah, I think I need to take your a little bit more and really understand the concerns. I understand you're coming from like surveillance and the tailoring of ads, but anyway, we'll pause it here. Yeah, and Muzzy, if you want to continue this conversation, that's fine. We'll have you back for it. So I want to understand people's thoughts too. Like, I used to be creeped out, like, oh wow, I talked to a restaurant and now I'm gonna add my email. And now it's like I'm waiting for it. I'm like, hey, I didn't like. Why didn't I get an ad?
Yeah, like why didn't Uber message me when I was staring at their menu for like 10 minutes and didn't order? Where's the discount
Yeah.
at?
Yeah, where's my code?
Oh man, that is also very creepy. I mean,
Anyway.
oh man, when Uber
Yeah.
just sends you
Oh
that,
yeah.
oh, are you still thinking about ordering
Oh,
this?
I
Order
mean,
now. They close in an hour, you know?
oh yeah. Like by the time that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we can end this conversation here. We had some good topics and other stuff that I do want to carry into another conversation. I want to come back to the security topic some other time, or smart devices, the Internet of Things devices. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Okay.
definitely really cool stuff, and yeah, I'm sure we'll get up to another conversation on that, man. Happy to chat, and I'll be honest, I am tempted a lot of times, but so far I have kept away. But yeah, no, honestly, thank you again, Muzzy, for joining us, and yeah, maybe next one we can do early morning, just to spice things up a little
Well,
bit, right?
thanks for having me, but this might be the last one if it's gonna end up being an early morning one. No, I mean, yeah, if it works out, it works out. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah,
Good
definitely,
stuff.
inshallah. Yeah,
All right, guys.
but yeah, thanks again.
Take care of that.
Take care,
Enjoy your
guys.
evening.
Inshallah. You too.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right.
Nice seeing you
Thank you
guys.
guys. Good seeing you as well.